This video is brought to you by 86. Pick up video game apparel from Skullgirls and Monster Hunter World. 86.com slash question mark AFF equals 4 and let them know that we sent you. There we go. Okay, hello everybody. It is Wednesday, middle of the week, and I'm sure some of you are wondering what's on today's topic, what's on today's news. And just to back up a little bit, hello, my name is Anthony Bianis. I am the head honcho at Mission Star TV. And yeah, I'm back again with more news in the Mission Star Podcast weekly podcast, where we dish out the news every week, whether it be with 3, 2, or even as sometimes one person giving out the news. So for today, as I burp into the mic, because burpcast, we are talking about Riot. So this is a report off PCGamer.com, written by Steven Menser. Every game announced at Riot's jam-packed 10th anniversary live stream. A fighting game, card games, and a tactical first-person shooter? Damn, Riot, slow down. In the span of 1 hour, live stream Riot Games went from a one-trick pony to a Marvel Cinematic Universe. Celebrating League of Legends' 10th anniversary, Riot came in swinging with a special edition of its Riot Please show, where it revealed what's coming not only to League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics, but also unveiled a fighting game, a tactical first-person shooter, a card game, an esports management simulator, an animated TV series, and what looks like to be an action RPG set in the League of Legends universe. Oh, and a mobile version of both League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics. Yes, a lot unfortunately, but I'm here to break it down all for you in one digestible primer for everything announced during Riot's big birthday bash. And it goes on to explain each kind of details regarding each one. So off the bat, Riot made this huge announcement. I am not a person who follows League of Legends as I used to back in the day. Apparently, they had a 10th anniversary stream where they were showcasing, what's coming up for League of Legends. And for the longest time, as the article states, Riot has just been a one-trick pony. It has just been League of Legends, and that's about it. And for the longest time, and they still are like one of the most popular games on Twitch that is streamed, and it's still one of the most recognizable and one of the most popular games on Earth. Obviously, as time went on, those numbers did not go up as high at some point. Like every other game, there'll still be a core audience for them, but interest will draw wary, or people will start to move on to other games. That's why you see Dota 2, that's why you see Fortnite, that's why you see other games have much more attention now, or is maybe up that ilk, like a Dota 2, where they get their numbers as sometimes as close to League of Legends, sometimes it doesn't, but people compare obviously. So for the longest time, Riot Games has just been Riot Game. They have not had anything else until this live stream happened. Obviously, as I just read, they made several announcements. A fighting game, which I will get into that here in a second. A first-person shooter game, which, as they put it, they want to make. They were influenced by Counter-Strike. So they want, and from the looks of it, it looks like Counter-Strike plus Overwatch combined, which would be very interesting to see. But a team tactical multiplayer first-person shooter was also shown. A card game, which is going to be a direct competitor to Hearthstone, because why not? Not surprised there. Management sim, I did not see this coming at all. Apparently there's a management sim that's happening, and the details as far as that goes, and I'll read it here. The classic sim where you build and maintain a football club, managing contracts and salaries while guiding your team toward the ultimate victory at the FIFA World Cup. Now match now, but with a professional League of Legends esports teams. The players in game will be modeled after real-life counterparts, starting with those who participate in the League Pro League. and expand to other leagues over time. What's cool is that revenue from League of Legends Esports Manager will be shared with the Feature Pro team to help encourage the growth of LoL esports as a whole. That's really all we know. Though the details on this is one on the Still Light Esports Manager launched sometime in 2020, which is crazy and cool. I mean, hey, why not? I mean, we got Football Simulator already as it is, and that's does pretty well. So I guess a League of Legends sim would do well. We'll see. The animated series in the universe, because I feel like League of Legends character and lore is people love. They love the cinematics, they love the characters and the lore behind it. So it makes sense to have an animation of that, kind of maybe going more in depth with the lore, maybe showcasing something new that they haven't showed to their audience. So like, yeah, why not? And the animation and the stuff that some of the devs work on for League of Legends has been top notch. So I'm excited for that. Outside of that, they did announce that there'll be mobile versions of League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics coming to mobile, which is cool. I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, in this day and age, most things are getting ported to phones, or Switch, for that matter, and they're going to make it to where you get to play League of Legends and or Teamfight Tactics on your phone at some point. So that's that's gonna only grow from there, and it's going to be a big thing for them. And that's about it regarding the big announcement. Is a brief kind of summary into it. So one of the things I do want to point out, and I was struggling to kind of on two sides of this. So I'll first start with this. Riot finally is making other games. They have not made any other games at all. League of Legends struck gold, and they've kept on that train for 10 years. And many questions came up. Are they going to make other games at some point, or are they going to stick to just League of Legends for the entire life and depend the entire company on one game? So eventually, they finally found the time and finally found the resources to do so, to make other games. And my guess is they're working on it when nobody really asked or nobody really knew. And here's the big announcements of all of them happening in one stream, which is like, holy crap, you got a ton of stuff coming in the near future. I kind of would like to see them kind of branch out of League of Legends into some other new IPs, but I understand why they stuck with it, because people love League of Legends and that lore and those characters especially. So it doesn't surprise me all that that much. Are they sticking to what they know and what have been done successful for them, and able to use that as a jump off point to like, okay, let's make this and this and this. The timing couldn't be any better for Riot Games right now in terms of what's been happening with Blizzard. It almost feels like Riot is trying to become a better Blizzard. It's funny because I tweeted this out. It's like, this is a perfect time for Riot Games to do it. Intentionally or not, kicking Blizzard while they're down. And Blizzard is going through a lot of things right now. And this definitely feels like, oh, you want Blizzard light? Like us. Like Riot Games. So yeah, that is something that they're gonna tout about, or people are already saying like, Riot Games is the new Blizzard. Oh my God, they're so much better. So yeah, and that is that aspect, and I think that what Riot did, even if it was intentional or not, I still think that it's gonna, in the short term, benefit them. Long term, it's all gonna depend on if these games will do well. While people are really excited for these games, let's take a step back and realize that these games are still very early in development, and not to mention the animated series as well. So, will having these announcements, does it equal to them being good? We don't know. Riot Games has specifically made League of Legends. That is a different mindset than making a fighting game or making a first-person shooter, because League of Legends is basically a MOBA. You will command your hero, and you get to go around the map and beating other people or beating other characters in a very team-like style. You're not in the first-person shooter mode. You're not playing a fighting game. and it's definitely a different avenue that they're going to be taking in a lot of these projects. So it's going to be interesting to how they do, but time will tell. People are excited, but let's just temper expectations, and see how it goes with these projects. And if they come out of the gate and they're all good, Riot has definitely come back, in terms of like what, not come back, but like definitely have garnered some goodwill within the gaming community, as far as like, like us again, we got awesome games, we're better than Blizzard. On the other side of things is that as I was talking about how Blizzard was, at a point right now where there's nothing they can do is, working for them at all. They're getting attacked from all sides. The gamers, politicians recently, China, it's their own devs. Like Blizzard's in a place where I feel like there's only one option they could do, but they don't want to do it. And that's just cut ties with China and basically say we're going to be all American, all USA, but they're not going to do that. So when it comes to Riot, let's step back and let's look at what Riot is and what they've also been going through. Riot has also had its fair share of controversies. They have not treated their devs right. As recent as like some of the devs actually walked out and protest in the League of Legends campus, and it was covered through Kotaku and other places over the internet, just wanting better conditions for devs for people to work there. Not to mention there was a person there that still works there that was farting on people and was very much not treating women right. So, and he still works there. It was suspended, I think it was, or he was punished for doing that, but it was not fired. So on top of other issues that Riot is facing right now, like while these announcements are cool, I still view Riot as like I'm excited to see what these projects are, but at the same time I'm not really supporting or not in a place where like, hey, I forgive you, Riot. Like I'm not there with them at this moment. Not to mention, like, if people are upset about Blizzard, about how China is basically strong arming them in terms of, at least what they say. It could be just Blizzard doing this on its own, but from the outlook, it looks like China is strong arming Blizzard to basically enforce the rules and to basically hey, no mention of Hong Kong, no mention of the situation there between China and Hong Kong at the moment, and if you do, expect some punishment from China. And Riot is 100% owned by China, by Tencent. Take it what you will regarding that, which means that anything they do or produce could just mean they're catering most of their stuff to China. So if people are upset about Blizzard with what's been happening with them, do step back and think about, well, this game and its company is owned 100% by China, all of it, and whatever they want to put into their games or whatever propaganda they want to do, they could. So just keep that in mind. But with that being said, I think that Riot as a whole, as with these announcements have been made, are great. I think that they're definitely starting to. They finally got around to making other stuff other than just making the main game that's been making them money for the longest time. It's a wait and see situation with this, but it's definitely it's definitely coming at a time where, yes, it looks like they're outblizzarding Blizzard in many ways in one, but also like people are on edge with China, with Blizzard, with the NBA, with this, not with this, but like people should also think about like hey, Riot is owned 100% by China, so it's going to keep that in mind when you see whatever you see in the game for Riot, maybe reference it to China or maybe something else. So keep that in mind when it comes to this. But yeah, like the one thing I do want to get into actually talking about earlier was the fighting game. And it was funny because I always wanted Blizzard to make a fighting game. I had this conversation on the podcast with of my two co-hosts, or three sometimes, and I said one time, I was like, I would love to see Blizzard make a fighting game. Blizzard's always kind of taking their time, or they see the genre and they kind of take it and make it their own, and like really specialize and get good at it. If the history shown, Hearthstone was awesome. It still is. Overwatch is great. Like first-person shooters, card games, in a genres that they were not familiar with. RTS was their mainstay, as well as I want to say action RPGs, but Diablo, and that genre. So it definitely led itself like, man, it would be really cool if Blizzard did make some sort of fighting game. Like, what would that look like? And they never did. And maybe in the future they were hoping to so. But Riot, on the other hand, is taking an opportunity to make a fighting game. And the thing about it, and just from the limited footage, and I think you might be seeing it behind me with some of the videos that are playing behind me. One of the things that is interesting is it's still very, very early in development, but the people who are making it is the same people who made Fighting Thunder, or no, Rise and Thunder, I should say, which was a game that came out long ago. I can't remember the exact year, but it was a decent fighting game. It didn't set the whole world on fire. It was very interesting in terms of the way that game played. Lend itself to much easier execution in terms of, like, if I remember correctly, like it believed that it was using like you can play on almost on a keyboard, but like essentially like there are certain things as on cooldowns, and very friendly to a lot of new players, but also like very friendly as far as like you can play this on a keyboard, or even on a mouse. I think it was at some crazy points. And it was all right. It wasn't anything special, honestly. And so when Riot bought the team, we didn't hear nothing from them for quite some time. And I think that, we had thought that maybe that, they were going to use GGPO to help their networking with League of Legends. Maybe they're going to use them for something else. But eventually they were looking to making a fighting game, and they finally show a little bit of footage, but they're also like saying like, hey, this is a long time, it's going to take a while, this is the only time you're going to hear from us. And it's a separate teams working within Riot to make this fighting game. The people who are making it are the guys who made GGPO, who are the same guys who made Rise and Thunder, are going to be making it. So, and not to mention, okay, the Cannon brothers are in it as well. So I'm very curious. From just the short clips I've seen it does remind me a lot of Street Fighter. And I'm kind of curious to see if it's going to be going more in that direction. They got a lot of characters to kind of use, so they got plenty of characters to use and kind of flesh out. And they can really implement the abilities they have in League of Legends proper into the fighting game. I'm very curious to see how it goes. I mean, as a person who plays fighting games, I would love to see how this goes, and I'd love to see where it takes it. It's the thing that's interesting to me about all of that regarding the fighting game community and this fighting game, is that League of Legends have a lot of money on esports. Like, they have tons of money that they use in the productions, into their presentations, into the league itself. And with that in mind, when many people in the fighting game community, like, yes, now there are companies and sponsors out there who are providing a lot of money, and there are definitely production values has gone up over time. But as far as like money wise, how much a person would earn at Evo does not equate to how much a team would make at Worlds. And the idea that Riot Games could have a potential huge pot prize, or something that no other fighting game tournament would have at all, makes a lot of people within the fighting game community very curious and very excited for this. And for a lot of those people, like, those are going to be looking into, like, I'm going to definitely main Riot game, fighting game. I'm definitely going to be going in hardcore. And in the efforts of like, hey, there's a lot more money to be held in a League of Legends fighting game than there is versus other fighting games out there. So that's going to be something that you might see an influx of a lot of fighting game people that are going to be coming over to Riot whenever this fighting game does come out. Regardless of that, I think if that is the main draw, I think if Riot can say, we're going to do a fighting game league with our fighting game, and this is going to be how much money it's going for, and it's way more than any other FGC event has ever had, bigger than Evo, bigger than Capcom Cup. The what's the word looking for? Like people who are very loyal per se to a fighting game would drop everything and play a Riot fighting game, because they go where the money goes. Follow the money, as they say. And again, this is me speculating, but as someone who's been in the fighting game community, I feel like that's going to most likely happen. I've already seen people on Twitter saying that they will drop everything for this game to play it. So, there's definitely a lot of things within the fighting game community that could lend itself to maybe, to this fighting game, no matter what it is, and to how much money it may cost people to jump ship. But as for the casuals, as for everybody else, wait and see on this and see how these projects turn out. It's exciting for a lot of people, and for people who are excited about League of Legends, this is awesome. But let's just step back. Let's just kind of see how this goes. Now, all these games may not come out and be good. In pie in the sky, they're all great, and Riot just becomes a new Blizzard. But we'll see. And we'll definitely see how that goes. But yeah, in the meantime, that is going to be my spiel on the Riot announcements. If you like what you see, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back on Friday with another take on a news story happened in the past week. And for that, keep an eye on his YouTube channel. If you follow on social media, I post his clips on Facebook and on Twitter. You can follow me personally at The Effective Naruto. You can follow the work that we do at missionstart.tv. This entire podcast will be uploaded Friday, so keep an eye out for that. You can subscribe to us on Anchor and many other services around the world. So with that, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys Friday, and I'll see you guys next time.